Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. I hope you guys can hear us. Just give us a thumbs up or an hoorah or anything really. Got it. Yep. You're clear. Okay, good. Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Awesome.
This is our October live Q&A. Guess we could do some introductions.
Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm Astraea. I'm the community manager, and I'm here with PMO.
Hey, Peter Maurice, Project Lead.
Hey,
And
I'm
Chaz.
Chaz. I'm the lead game designer.
How's everybody doing today? Good, I hope. Thumbs up if you're doing well. Yeah,
Thumbs up.
We should do thumbs up too, right?
Yeah. Let me know if there's any issues with the audio. Just let us know. But it seems like it's okay for everybody right now.
Yeah, that's great.
I guess we're just here to answer some questions with the launch of 1.0. It's going to be a fun time. I know a lot of people put in questions on our Discord. Just remember, you could also ask live as well. We'll pick some from the chat as we see them, and hopefully we can answer your questions. I suppose to start, I'm going to pick some from the Discord. I know with 1.0 we introduced Galactic Front. We're just going to start off with Chaz. So there's been questions on company operations, like the reasoning behind like company ops being sort of behind companies, and like Boreas's involvement behind company ops being behind that as well.
Yeah, that's kind of a thing we decided a while back, but I like the story of it. So the story is that you're kind of invading this planet for the Federation. You're creating a beachhead, and this is kind of the way that we want to investigate adding new content to the game going forward, is kind of having a Galactic Front really center on that content and really highlight it and give you the best experience possible, like matchmaking into it. And I can control a bit more about like how the level is designed and what the modifiers are, what the mutators are, what the objectives are. In that system, again, it's created so that our matchmaking system is not overloaded with too many custom matches. So there's certain specific things, that limitations that we have to have. But long story short, I can make the experience way better, and it's not as random as the regular missions that are in rotation. So it is very much a preferential thing from our account. And then once we're finished with the Galactic Front, who knows what's going to happen, win or lose. We'll be slowly incorporating it back into the regular gameplay. And yeah, as I said, this is going to be new content going forward into the game. They'll be highlighting it with the Galactic Front and really celebrating it and giving you the best experience possible, while focusing you in different areas of the game.
I guess to follow up on that, there has been talk of the new bug included as part of the Galactic Front, the tanker. Is there going to be any increase in its appearance? A lot of people ask, why is it tied behind a modifier, mutator? Are there any changes that could be expected for players?
You're going to see him slowly ramp up. So we had a bit of a rocky first couple of weeks. So like it's kind of like a, let's see how he does, and let's make sure that we're not ruining anyone's experience, because it is something that will keep coming up and coming up and coming up. So expect in the next maybe week or so, we'll see, to have a bit more of a highlight on the tanker bug, once I'm kind of happy with his performance, and he's kind of not doing strange things.
Yeah, I suppose again to add on that, we sort of included it to like rarely appear on Valaka. Are we looking to expand it beyond Boreas?
Just Boreas for now, and Valaka maybe here and there, and then I'm focusing on Boreas for now. Let's put it that way. Like it is something I can reward you guys for destroying, and that's the intended design, is to be like, okay, he's a boss. He turns up kind of when the shit is about to go down, and I really want to finish off the Galactic Front with that moment of everyone in the community finding that bad boy and him wrecking your shit and just having a good time playing the game, and just seeing that random thing happen is kind of like a surprise and stuff. So yeah, as we exit this kind of period, then he'll just be a natural part of the game. But yeah, that's the kind of general gist.
I think we also put out a Galactic Front dev blog covering a lot of what players can expect. So if you haven't seen that yet, you can check out our website or on Steam. It'll probably give some more information on some things I see people have been asking, such as rewards and such. I guess just to clarify while I have people here, when humanity completes the Galactic Front, everybody gets the reward, right?
Yeah.
Everybody who's in that event window.
So you have to have have the game account there so we can gift it to the account. Like that's the main thing. But and again, if you miss it, like it won't be like exclusive or anything like that. It's something that we can come along and give, again, another point if necessary. So I don't want to make out that like you just miss it, but it's also very, very simple. It's very much just like, humanity has won and the Sky Marshal's happy, she's going to give you the goodies. That's if Sky Marshal's not happy, you'll get the goodies, but you always have to achieve something to get these prizes and stuff like that. So it's fair. It's just one of those things where it's difficult to communicate in the game, just due to limitations on time and stuff like that. So as we kind of keep this game rolling, it'll become a bit more obvious what's happening, and the UI will indicate a bit better what's going on. So there won't be that many questions. But yeah, like there's just not enough time in the day to do everything. So yeah, that's why there's a little bit of confusion. But again, we'll clear it up.
Okay. I guess I already see it popping up. One of the most big questions we had since we launched on 1.0 is regarding spawns of bugs. I was wondering if there's anything that can be shed on there. People are seemingly seeing less bugs. So.
It's a complicated question to answer. It's multifaceted what's going on with the spawning system, and we've talked about this numerous times publicly that this existing spawning system we inherited, and as the game was getting finished over the last 16 months from early access launch, we were finishing the game, new systems, new modes, new maps, everything was added in, and the spawning system unfortunately wasn't ever set up to accommodate that type of growth into the game. So what we've decided to do about 3 months ago is really look at redesigning the system so that it's more kind of directive design based, so that we have 100% control what spawns, how they spawn, when they spawn, and to be able to do that not only through the client but also through the server, so we can really make our robust live support and live services even better. So that's what we're in the process of doing right now, and that's a long process. Hopefully we're tentatively looking for 1.2 to have that system in place. In the meantime, where we're seeing some of our spawning issues around the arc slam and things, we've been investigating that and what can we do right now to alleviate those concerns and try to shore that up without sacrificing the people that is working on the new system right now for us. So more to come on that. As every patch goes out, we look at a way if there's an opportunity to do something to help with the spawning, because it's so inconsistent in certain maps and certain modes and things like that. And we found a few areas that we want to shore up and patch in to just get us through and make sure it's more stable. So those are things we're working on right now. And as we get more information to share, and if we have anything meaningful, they'll be included in the patch notes. And we'll, of course, get that information out as soon as we can.
It's quite a bunch of bugs for some people. I know they want to embrace the carnage, so hopefully we can provide that to them.
Yes, absolutely. Right. We pride ourselves on having the tons of bugs on the screen and 10 tons of dead bugs on the screen. We just got to make sure we can control that, and that's what the new system will be allowing us to do.
I suppose just to follow up with just future updates, I know in the Discord you gave like a Project Lead update on patches and stuff, and people are wondering about sort of performance and optimization and where we stand on that. I was wondering if there's anything we could expand on that for our troopers.
Yeah, so the big thing is with the performance and optimization, like it's kind of twofold, right? It's the main game optimization, and there's specific PC optimizations. I guess it's threefold, and then we have console optimization. So console, for the most part, is in a really, really good place, but it still needs improvement. We've got our crash rates down across the board. We've just patched in a lot of Xbox crashes. PlayStation, we're hovering around 1% crash rate, which is a significant level to be at, considering the average is above that in most AAA, AA games. But there's work to do there. On the PC, it's not great, and we are working double time to optimize the PC. And it's not necessarily optimizing how our game runs on hardware, but it's optimizing the game itself. So things we're working on for the next patch is optimizing a lot of our items in the game, such as beacons and ammo caches and things like that, to make sure that they are performing the best they can through the LOD system, the level of detail, the bone meshes, the skeletal meshes, and all those types of things. It's a gargantuan effort, and we've been working on it for a long while, and we're going to continue to work on that. And that will eventually make the game more performant. And then there's things like whenever a trooper dies, we discovered in our game that once they die, their actual inventory, anything attached to that trooper, didn't get removed out of the system. So the match would degrade a little bit, and a lot sometimes if there was a lot of trooper deaths throughout the match, and the match would it would feel worse at the end than it is at the start. So we're working on that and getting that into our next patch. There's tons of other stuff we're doing, and since we're a client server game, certain things live on the server, certain things live on the client, and how they relate to each other, we're working on those optimizations. So PC is priority one for us right now, to really get back to where we want to get it back to. And if people's been with us a long while, you remember when we upgraded our engine, we really, it brought the game back a little bit, and we took months to get it back where we wanted, and we really was in a good place in the summer. And now we need to get back to that same place, and we really need to get our PC performance where we want it as a studio and where our community wants it, and that's our focus right now. And features are being sacrificed for that. Like, there's features we want to bring to you that we're saying, no, we're not adding anything new into the game that will bring our performance down. We want quality of life, performance, and optimization for the next many months. That's where we're focused on, because there's tons of game to play, and we want to make sure everybody can play it on whatever machine they have if they meet the specs. And that's what we want to do. The easy thing, we could have raised the specs up on our machines and said, hey, you're SOL if you don't have this spec. We refuse to do that. Many people, thousands of people bought our game, and with the minimum specs we had outlined for it, and we're committed to bring those keep our performance within those minimum specs. So we're just completely focused on it. But like I said, I'm going to be honest with you, features are being sacrificed to ensure that our PC performs at the level we need to do. And that's what we're committed to.
I guess in addition to just like working on software, I know some people are also asking, is it just our only focus? Even though we're cutting features, I think we're also working on small quality of life additions as we can add them. So
that it works in parallel, right? Not everybody works at the same thing, right? Not all programmers work on the same thing. Not all designers are capable of working on the same thing, and artists and stuff like that. So, but we can't have a bunch of people working on something that counteracts all the performance and optimization that we're doing on the other side. So it has to be a symbiotic relationship. But in 1.1, which we're working on, when that comes out, it's going to have quite a few more optimizations into it. But also there's going to be small features that don't degrade performance, small quality of life stuff that I think is going to be very meaningful to the player base and stuff like that. And we're going to continue to do that. But we're not going to be just rolling out these massive things that make us take a step back in our game. The community doesn't want that. We don't want that. And we're in it for the long haul. So yeah, it's sometimes it's a balancing, and that's where I have to look at, not only the product value, the business value, and the community value, and ensure that we're getting a good balance there.
I suppose just to continue on with like quality of life things, I know a lot of people on console have been wondering just is there any sort of things we could shed on that we may be looking to bring? I know people have been asking about sort of sensitivity sliders and maybe keyboard and mouse support on consoles. Is there anything there you can share?
For sensibility and sliders, we've got something that we're working on for controllers for sure on console. That's been something we've been wanting to do. For keyboard and mouse, nothing in the plans right now to add any more support on that on console.
Let's see what else. What other questions? There's been a lot of other things. I think people have gotten the answer for spawning and most Boreas-based things. It's just additions and what we're looking to add in terms of quality of life. Will it? You mentioned cutting features. This guy said, "Is it just going to be optimization patches?" I think we just mentioned.
Yep.
It's not just going to be purely.
No, not just purely. We got our things, like we always want to make sure that we, like I said, it's a balanced approach, but we're not going to be like just putting in a brand new planet and tons of new things in, and then at the sacrifice of performance and optimization.
You see an interesting question. This was also added as part of 1.0. It was the single player experience.
Yeah.
The solo play tutorial. Are there any plans to further develop them beyond just content?
Yeah.
Story-wise,
I'm not sure
way
about
you play through it.
I'm not sure about further than content. I'm not understanding that part, but develop it further than.
Oh, sorry. Like I misread. It says, "Are we going to further develop the stories and personalities of the characters?"
Yes. 100%. Actually, Chaz and I have been talking about that since we've had a plan in place from chapter 1, the soul experience, right now as the first introduction. So yes, that's still something that's going on, and we're super excited about what we want to do for the second chapter in this, where we can now kind of learn from what we did in the first one and further expand that. And yeah, not much to share on that right now, but that's something that we're already working on.
Steven Stove asked, "Are there company searches?" It's currently in the game. We released it with 1.0.3, and then somebody asked, "Are we going to expand the company system itself? Are we going to see stats potentially increasing?"
I will speak
limit?
first, and then Chaz can chime in a little bit on this. So yes, company is a huge part of our game. We want to add a lot of new features. Just the one thing I'll talk about, because the one thing that's pretty obvious that's not there is being able to click on your friend and invite them to the company. There's a really good reason for that. It's because we're in the process. We have two backhand systems. The clans are on one and our main game's on the other. And then we have the friend system, which is Steam, Epic, PlayStation, and Xbox. Those systems are independent to each other. Getting them to talk to each other was a major undertaking for us. Now we need those systems to talk to our company system, and that's a major undertaking without sacrificing first party when it comes to Xbox, Sony. So it's on our list. We're going to do it. It's just a major undertaking. So company search was something we wanted to get in for launch. It wasn't ready to go in because of the backend systems and the UI systems needed for it. But we got it in as soon as we could. So that's just on that aspect. So that's what we're working on. And then Chaz can talk a little bit about some of the goals he has for companies in the future.
Yeah, it really is. I'm trying to get you to as close to the movies as possible. So if you want to create Rico's Roughnecks, you can. But then the usual designs around video game clans come into play, where people want to have more members. They want to have chat. They want to have all the myriad ways of dealing with people online in video games, and it becomes more and more of a heavy burden to kind of keep adding those kind of features and keep those maintained. But that is very much the plan, and Offworld as a company is committed to making sure that we can grow communities and have these healthy and happy and really great experiences with other people and not toxic. So there's a lot of work that goes into that bit, which is like not toxic. So when I introduce the idea of company chat, right, like we have to be very careful about how we roll that out to the community, because there's a lot of things that can go wrong with people interacting with other people, right? There can be very, very dire consequences. So profanity is a big one, but also community moderation and stuff like this. It's like, we're a small company, we can't necessarily handle that style of interaction. So we basically, long story short, we have to be very careful how we do it, and we have to roll it out practically with something that we can afford. So I'm generally thinking that company chat is going to be soon coming, but it's not going to be something where you can scroll through reams and reams and reams and reams of stuff. It's going to be, how do we coordinate as a company and go on a mission? Like, that's very very focused. It's not going to have a lot of bells and whistles, but it should have the ability to moderate and kind of keep your company kind of active and happy. And people want to go and join another clan for whatever reason, that's as I said before, it's like easy in and easy out. Like there's no barrier to entries. If you want to set up your own clan just to one, go nuts. That's the main thing. But that does mean that there's going to be like dead clans hanging around and stuff like that. So we need to filter that and get better at filtering those things. So long story short, very complex, but really want to invest in it, but also make sure the design is really cool. And then a lot of people are asking, like, I want to have a bigger company and I want have more people, and I'm like, yeah, 100%. For right now, I kept it quite small, just for those reasons of like managing logistics and to keep the spirit of the movie alive, right? Like Rico's Roughnecks is not 300 people; it's a company of people. So we're looking at expanding the number of people that can be in your company, but with that comes a lot of logistical problems and stuff like that for players, not just for us. So want to be very careful about it, but new things coming. And I want to make it more and more a part of the experience where you guys can feel proud of your company and feel like it's a bigger part of the game than it is now.
Mentioned going on missions with your company. There's been some questions on specifically those missions and also just missions in general. We'll be looking to sort of add player customization to the missions. I know we curate our own, but to hand that over to the player themselves, is that something we are looking into?
Oh, so like player created company operations, right?
Yeah, like a customizable quick play.
Yeah.
Customizable quick play would be interesting, but no, I think the intention is to give you more selections in the company operations, which basically allows you to cherry. Right now, I'm limiting it quite a bit to 6, just because of like it's a new feature. But as we roll it out, I can give you more and more options. Again, we need to be very careful, because if everyone just matchmakes into random dispersed matches, no one will ever matchmake with each other. So we're testing this with a lot of people. And if I were just to go whole hog and give you guys the ability to do whatever you want, you would never matchmake with each other. So let's keep it fairly tight for now, but it'll keep loosening as we go, as we measure our performance and make sure that the player experience is good. But I also I want to give you stuff that surprises you, right? It's like I want to give you stuff that you're not quite expecting. So it won't be a fully customizable system in that regard, but it'll give you more choice than a lot of other competitors, right? That's a big thing for me, is like I don't want to be forced into just what is a very average selection. I want to have that selection and keep matchmaking times light, but I also want to give you guys the ability to spin up a game mode that you don't see in that selection, because that's your favorite game mode, and that's really important. So yeah, again, not fully customizational at any point in soon, but more customizable.
Yeah.
On the topic of customization, there's been quite a few that popped up. This one from Weston is, are we planning to lock anything behind the company's feature, such as rewards?
Right. So I'll answer this. So the plan was for this company operation, and this Galactic Front was a big learning too, right? This is the first time we're doing this. We want to see what appeals to players, what they chase, things like that. So cosmetics is something that we wanted to introduce, because in our game we do have a cosmetics. There's tons of cosmetics you can earn for free through your level 0 to 100 in your career. There's tons of those cosmetics in the game. So this was another way for us to give some free cosmetics out as the player base could defeat the Galactic Front and win it. So that was a big thing. But moving forward, Chaz alluded to, it's like, content. We want to deliver our content not through some battle pass or through some other paid system, but to give it through community. The community has to earn the right to get it. So the next Galactic Front won't necessarily have cosmetics. It'll have something else that can't go into right now, but we'll go into soon. That's going to change, give you an opportunity if you win that Galactic Front to change how you play a little bit. And the next ones could be weapons and other things. So we want to be introducing the cool content coming to our game. Not all the content will be introduced that way. Like I don't foresee like Boreas was the planet that won't happen in next year. That planet will not be that way. It'll be something else that will be tied to it. But we want the community to be earning all these cool rewards. So will there be cosmetics in the future for Galactic Front? Of course there might be, but we're going to be doing a lot of other cool content coming with it. So yeah.
The topic of cosmetics, and I guess moving back to companies, people want that ability to be more like create their own identity. People are wondering, will we be introducing any sort of company tagging system or like a logo creation system?
I dream of a logo creation system.
Yeah, it was originally a part of the design, and we still want to have company customizations. So it's still there. It hasn't been cut. It's just that, like I said, like Chaz said, we're working on, a chat feature, some light stats, some other things that we want to put in the company system that creates that community. And then the customization is going to be probably something as we get into the clan progression system, the clan XP system that we're working on, that maybe that's a good place to introduce unlocking as a clan progresses, unlocking a badge and medals and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all in the plans. Yeah. Just getting started.
Yeah. We're a small team, but we got big dreams.
Yeah. Yes, we do.
Sometimes too big.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys seen any questions you wanted to answer.
There's a couple. I'll go through it. Any plans for a digital album release for the OST? No, that's not something we will release. That's because of our partners and the relationship we have there. We're not in the music business. But yeah, it's right. If Sony ever wanted to release it one day, they could, because they own the rights to all of our music, and they own the rights to all the music and art in our game. So someone mentioned about the solo with the bugs getting stuck. Yes, we know that wasn't the way it was going for the longest time. We fixed 4 of the 5 problems with it, and the next patch will have those fixes in. And Moose and Scorch now kind of follow you everywhere, and they get in trouble and they don't get stuck anymore. So yes, we're still working one through with. Sometimes they get scared of carnage bugs for some silly reason. They if a carnage bug is beside a certain object in the game, they tend to just back off and not go any further. We don't know why. I always thought Moose was a bit of a coward, but we're looking on that one. But yeah, we fixed, like I said, 5 of the major areas. We got 1 more to go, and yeah, they will be there. And like I said, there's other SOG fixes coming in. There's one thing coming to SOG that I'll let you know this right now. I've not announced this publicly, but the team did this for me, and I'm so excited because I know sometimes that weapon mastery can be a bit of a grind. Nobody probably plays the game as much as I do, but we will in the next probably 1.1. When you play SOG, you will get weapon mastery. So that's something that a designer and an engineer just got to town and went and did it, which was amazing. So that's coming. What else are the questions in here I was going to answer? Somebody talked about Philip crashing on Xbox. Yeah, so Philip, we've reduced the major part of the crashing on Xbox, but there are ones still we're chasing on memory that we're really looking hard into. And once we have that fixed, is one of the first things we're going to get out, and the whole team is focused on that, because right now we love our Xbox players, and we want to make sure that that crash is fixed as soon as we have. It's rare, but when it happens, it's devastating, and we want to make sure we get that fixed for you and everyone else on Xbox.
I see people mentioning they're facing various issues. We welcome people to join our Discord and make use of the bug board and the feedback board.
Yes.
So we could parse things through, and I could send it to the team. Hopefully this command works in the chat.
There was a question. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt. There was a question someone asked about cosmetics, because we introduced cosmetics, right? DLC cosmetics, and there's like 7 items in those DLC cosmetics, and they're pretty cool. I still personally like the base blue cosmetic in our free system. Will there be free cosmetics coming? Well, you're seeing Boreas go and win those. Those will be free for you. Also, we're looking at other free cosmetics that's hopefully coming in 1.2. That's going to be added into the 0 to 100 track. That is going there. Chaz and I have looked at it, but it's called the Deep Space Vanguard. That's what it's called, right, Chaz? That pack?
Mhm.
And it's really cool. I really like it, and I think everyone look at. So we're going to go to get that in, and we're always going to be adding free cosmetics and decals and visors into the game. Guarantee it. It's always coming. I think we've done a really good job of adding the amount we did during early access, and we'll continue to do that. So on top of our supporter packs that we have also, which will be, we have another couple packs coming next year that for DLC too, so that people can purchase.
People are
How come
wondering.
the main
Oh,
song
previous
for
things.
Starship Troopers can't be in the game? Someone just asked that. It's we just don't have the rights to it. Simple as that.
Previous things.
The music industry and the film industry,
It's crazy.
who has rights to stuff? It's weird. So yeah, we just don't have the
it's
rights
so
to it.
expensive to buy the music. It's
We don't have the rights to it. Somebody else is the rights holder on it, and it's not us.
Yeah.
Sorry, Astraea, you were about to ask a question.
Oh, yeah, we've had some just wanting to get updates on previous things we've mentioned, like the Morita Underbarrel.
Yes, that's coming. Chaz's design team and engineering team is working on that right now for the MK1. The Morita is going to be getting an underbarrel attachment. We're super excited about that. And the other Moritas are coming too eventually.
Is there an ETA on when the next patch will arrive?
That's a tough one. We thought we had a patch ready to go in the next week or so, but we ran into some challenges with it, and we had to pull it back because it would have actually not been a good patch for us to put on consoles. So when we have a update on our next patch, we're going to let you know as soon as possible. The team is focused on it right now in-house, and a lot more testing is going on. So yeah, we're going to try to get that patch up to our beta testers as soon as possible to test some of the performance improvements. But yes, right now 1.1, we're still trying to aim to get that out. That's if you don't know namings for patches, if you see a patch that's like a 1.0 that's usually a hotfix patch, usually less than 20 bugs, and it's really focused on performance optimization and critical fixes. And if you see something called like a 1.1 or 1.2, that's more of a bigger patch that has a lot more bug fixing, maybe some tuning, some small features, maybe some big features, stuff like that. So 1.1, we're still tentatively looking towards right now the end of November, and everything is on track for that. But it's hard, right? We're a small team. We're not a big team. And I hate to keep saying we're a small team because we have big hearts and humongous talent, I think. And, it's just juggling multiple patches. We're just making sure that, we can breathe a little bit too, right? It's important for the team to just breathe and say, hey, we accomplished a shit ton of work in the last 16 months. We punched above our weight tremendously. Now it's time to, breathe a little bit between some of the other punches. But yeah, right. And so whenever we have, I can lock that date in, Astraea will be shouting it to the moon.
Definitely get it out to everybody when they're ready, of course.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Nobody likes hearing that though.
Yeah, when they're ready. There's been questions on modifiers. Some of these are, if some are returning, as well as will we ever be able to pick our own modifiers?
I think Chaz talked a little bit about that.
So what context are you talking about modifiers?
Mutators.
Mutators. Oh yeah.
When we put the player-hosted servers in the game, I think that's probably when we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Did I just say something I was
okay?
This whole side of my brain just operating.
Know about it.
So that would be a good point to do it. But I'm sort of talking in circles a little bit, but in general, my preference is for me to give you challenges and you complete those challenges. But eventually, we will open it up, and it may be a bit sort of technical to understand, but the way that matchmaking works across these kind of games is it does limit certain things. but we will investigate it. And in general, it's something I want to give you more choice to, but I also want to give you challenge if you do that choice. So maybe it would cost more intel if you did that, or there would be certain other surprises that come up. That's kind of where I think about it. So it's a complex issue, but yeah, it's totally let's keep talking about it. Totally open to ideas.
Yeah, and I mentioned something like just like player hosted servers. This is something we kind of shied away from talking about for the last like 16 months, 18 months, whatever. It's like never was something that was in the plan, but like something I've been kind of entertaining for since we started. It's like something we want to do, and we are publicly ready to say that we're started investigating what that will mean for our game. And once we're ready to share more information and start alpha testing a system, we'll be sharing that with our NDA group. But yes, we would like to get there one day on player hosted servers, and that could be a great opportunity for players who host their own server to create their own matches, for example. How that works with the main game and stuff like that on PC, it's a different thing, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like how would they?
It's no longer a no for us. Sorry, Chaz. Go ahead.
No, it's just it's interesting because if you think about it, like, could they start their own galactic fronts? Could they potentially? Oops, excuse me. Yeah, so I'm just gonna ignore that. But yeah, like my phone's going off. But yeah, would they? How
That's
would
your
that?
mom. You
how
have
would,
to answer.
Yeah, it is probably my mom.
Well, you should answer
Mom.
that. Don't ever put your mom on hold.
What was I saying? I was saying basically it would be interesting to have your own galactic fronts and customize on that level and start thinking about it. But again, that kind of breaks the narrative in my head of like, well, there is one federation, there is one, Sky Marshal and stuff like that. So there would be like this, maybe Off-World will be handling kind of the sort of live operations side of things, and players would host servers for it and stuff like that. But in general, that's where my mind goes with it.
Yeah. There's a question I'm going to answer because I get to make these announcements. Will the flamethrower be getting different weapon mods like extended range, napalm, ammo, and stuff like that? Weapon mastery is something we're looking at, right? Absolutely. Shotguns, Chi-Hong, and the FU-17 flamer are going to be getting a mastery updates. Not all, they won't have full tracks, but they will have cool things added to their mastery, and that's coming really soon. So yes, and we're continually looking at mastery to increase that reward track. So every gun, every weapon in our game has a full 10 items in their mastery track. So yes, hopefully that makes you happy.
I suppose on that, there's people wondering, how do we view sort of balancing weapons? Are we looking to make any adjustments to weapons, like buffs or nerfs?
I mean,
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chad.
That's a constant thing, yeah. So that's myself and my combat designer like constantly talking about that and constantly thinking about what we're doing, and as we're adding new stuff, rebalancing and getting faster at doing that. So yeah, that's a constant discussion, and that's something that we get feedback from all the time from the beta team. And I'm really open to anyone who's giving feedback about that sort of stuff, and we'll keep that conversation going because it's never done. It's never finished.
And there's
so,
no nerfs planned.
No nerfing, no.
I played a game enough. I hate nerfs.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think there's nothing worse than you put a game out and then I was like, you nerf it, and then everybody complains, and then devs like me going like, oh, let's get it back there, and then you've had all this complaining for no reason. When we touch the guns, there's a reason for it. There's going to be a reason why we do it. It's an exploit. It's not working as good as we want it. But we're not going to nerf for the sake of nerf. If anything, I'm always at our combat designer and I'm like, hey, I need more power on my favorite weapon. And he goes, no, Pete, you're not getting more power. It's too powerful enough. I'm like, well, I'm the boss. And he goes, doesn't matter. And I'm like, you're right, because you're the boss of combat. And that's how it goes on the team. So like, we have to always fight against our own play styles too. But yeah, no, I'm really happy where it is. I honestly think the flamethrower needs more range, and we're working on that, except that's a little bit more complicated because the extending the range on the flamethrower requires a particle system be extended and still keep its integrity and look good. But we are going to do it. It just takes time. But that's not coming anytime soon, but hopefully in the new year we can get that in, because I think we all agree, even in the studio, that the flamethrower, we'd like to give it more range.
And also adding to that, like when we talk about optimization, when you optimize something, it changes how it works. So we have to you have to rebalance, right? Like if
Yeah.
you go like, okay, suddenly bullets work differently now, but they're optimal, and you're like, that completely changed the fire rate on every single gun. You know, like it's stuff like that happen. I'm not saying that's happening in our game, but in general, as you go through development, there are constant changes necessary. And the other thing to note is that as we have 6 classes, we want each of those classes to feel different. So that means that when you're like, hey, I want more range on this particular gun, it might be like, well, you're a ranger, like you're not a sniper, like like that's not what we want you to do. We don't want to turn everything into bland, everything's all the same.
Yeah, everything shoots the same distance, everything has the same power.
Yeah.
That's why mastery is super important for us, right? Because mastery is your point to you take your weapon and maybe you get a full FMG, full metal jacket bullets, or armor person. You can mix and match, right? Oh, I want quicker reload. No, I want a bigger magazine, right? And that's what really makes our weapons feel better and different, and for different playstyles, instead of just moving a number, because then everything starts feeling the same. Like the E-Pulse cannons don't have the longest range, but they're impactful within their range, right? If you give them a longer range, then what's the point of using a saw, stuff like that, right? So there's tons of different things that go into it. It's not as easy as everybody wants it to be.
Touched on classes. Is there any updates on that? Like, are we going to make any adjustments, or is there
We're
any
looking
update
at
on
it.
potentially new class?
We really want to update the classes and add a few more levels to them, but we won't do it until it's meaningful. So like it's something we want to do. We want to do next year in the first half. We want to do some class updates. What that means, we're trying to figure out: is it an extra 5 levels? Is it just maybe a weapon, or is it some perks? We just don't know. Don't fully know exactly what's going in each one of them yet. And when we do, we'll communicate that out. But they got to remain special. They got to remain unique. We just don't want to add stuff in there that doesn't make sense for the meta of that class. So more to come on that.
Yeah, and every class has to be equally served. It can't just be like, yeah, we released something for, you know, like the ranger, and every other class is like, what, you know, like it's tricky.
Yep.
There was one interesting question I forgot to mention. There was somebody asking, as they were playing through a mission, there was this new resource called Archnigeon.
Archnigeon. Yes. That's pretty special. That's on Boris for now, because that's been hit by a meteorite. So Archnigeon is a new resource added into the game. It's rare. I won't go into it much about it, but that's tied to the Galactic Front, and that's like Chaz is telling. We're all telling a story. Chaz is, you know, he's the game master, just like in Dungeons and Dragons. You don't know how much effort he's putting into it every day, figuring out what type of crazy combinations he's going to want to send you. So Archnigeon is tied to that, and so you'll experience it in the game when that part of the Galactic Front hopefully gets to that point, if you guys can get there in time. And but it's something that's a new thing we've added to the universe, as with Vayu gas and ore. It's something that, you know, it's in IP now, and it's a mysterious new substance that the Federation's on Boreas 4. There's a reason why they went to Boreas. So yes.
Lore. Potential lore.
Yes. There was a whole dev diary we did on it, and we cut it because we didn't want to spoil it, and we realized it was gated back into the story. So yes, we'll release that after it's been introduced, most likely. Yeah. I love it because nobody can pronounce it.
Oh yeah, I just kind of still don't know if I'm pronouncing it right.
Archnigeon.
Archnigeon. Okay.
Bug juice.
Bug juice.
Yeah. Bug juice.
Chaz, really?
Bug juice.
Are there any new prefabricated structures on the way? Imagine that's asking about building.
You have
I'm actually that's about building
new buildings. Yeah.
Eventually, yes. There's one we're looking at for a 1.1. That's not a buildable thing, but it's a structure, and then more to come. Yep.
Are there any changes to re-enlistment rewards, or is there more coming to it?
I mentioned some of the stuff we want to do to the 0 to 100 track, and the designers are looking at now. It's like how outside of loadouts, which is pretty important, considering that we're adding, hopefully the loadout locker will be coming, which will allow players to be able to switch at the start of the round or their loadout. So having more loadouts and more choices means you can min-max you can have many different versions of your classes out there. So yeah. Yep. And then we're looking at our stuff for re-enlistment.
They see that there's challenges for company ops. We'll be looking to add regular daily, weekly challenges.
I'm not going to answer that. That's Chaz's. It's like almost
Okay,
a daily thing with him and
I can talk about it. I'm happy to talk about it. I want to avoid this mobile free-to-play appointment FOMO stuff, but that's not to say that we can't do something like that, but it's not going to be something that's so like you have to do this to get this exclusive thing. So I want to be very careful about that because I do know that affects some people. Even having achievements in the game can affect some people negatively. So I'm very conscious and empathetic with people who want that kind of thing, but also people who don't like that kind of thing because they don't like that FOMO experience. The Galactic Front in general will kind of evolve into something that feels like that, but it's very much meant to be, you go into a Galactic Front when it's like when you want to play and there's more options for you, and then you go into a point where if you look at our Twitter feeds or our our social networking stuff, it's like, hey, there's a new objective type. I'm going to give you more medals. I'm going to give you more victory points, for this certain period of time. And I think that's the kind of right approach for right now. And I want to highlight it and do more with it and put more of that into the game. But it's going to be something that's accessible and kind of a light touch and something that celebrates the lore and celebrates, that people have spare time now to play the game, and let's get all back into the game and push a milestone and finish a Galactic Front or, push for this particular reward. We're not there yet, but I think we in the future will be, moving in that direction. So it's not going to be a checklist where I come in every day and do my dailies. I want to avoid that because that's what triggers me when you say that. It's like, oh, we're going to do a daily system. I'm like, sort of, kind of, but let me think about it and design it a little bit more with a light touch as opposed to appointment gaming.
Yeah, and I think that's the right approach. As somebody who plays a lot of used to play a lot of MMOs. That's one of the things I always wanted, but once they were introduced into the game over and over, it felt like every planet or every map added dailies, and I'm like, ugh, this feels like work. So more to come on that. I got a few questions I can answer directly from the chat right now, Astraea, if you don't mind. Could we be able to tag dead bodies already present in a map for recovery for extra XP? Love that idea. We all love that idea. That's something we've been talking about, getting XP for destroying corpses. We'd love that. Yes, that's something we're looking at. Anyway, I got to be honest with you. I love XP. I love getting XP. Any way we can put XP on all the things in the game, what you do as a player, that feedback is important to us. So yes, we would love to do that. Are you planning to make the Warrior Bug pre-order bonus skins available? Yeah, I've said this many times. That console thing, it's a console exclusive for at least 90 days. We plan to introduce it in the first half of 2025 on console. Right now, how we entered on PC, how we introduce it will probably be available for sale. Obviously, it's a smaller package to our existing cosmetic package, so it would be priced appropriate for that. Any plans to add more players to fill out the 5 squads? Not at this time. We're at 16. That's enough. Okay.
Is there anything on a platinum trophy?
Been talked about. Not something we're entertaining right now. But no, it's been talked about. We have some ideas around it, actually. Yeah, it just requires it actually, to go platinum, you have to recertify your game on PlayStation. So that's a massive effort. We'd have to shut down any type of development for about a month to do that. So yeah, you know, because if you don't have it at launch, Sony requires you to recertify the entire game, which, if anybody's ever gone through that, it's a long process. So we have to think very, very carefully on that. And that's just the honest truth.
Well, interesting one. This was about extraction. Are we ever going to plan to shorten the extraction or add some sort of health system to the dropship? As people
Yeah, we
seem
talked
to-
about that. That's still on the drawing board, like reduce the extraction time, reduce the build time. But I think I'd like to introduce that as possible mods, not mods, mutators to the game. I think that would be great. Mutators is like, hey, this match, you know, something we'll explore for our Heroes of the Federation difficulty system that we're working on. Yes, you heard it here first. We Heroes of the Federation difficulty system is actively being worked on, and we hope to roll out the first Hero of the Federation difficulty in early 2025. And I am very excited about what Chaz's design team has put together for the first two levels of Heroes of the Federation. And it's going to start off. It's going to start off. You know, we have easy, medium, hard. Heroes of the Federation 1. That's going to be everything that hard has plus something else, and then it's going to go like there. But it's not going to be you're like, oh, let's make the bugs more spongy. And oh, I can't believe I just did this, but I hear that all the time. Let's make the bugs more spongy, harder to kill. That's not what we're doing, right, Chaz? We're not going down that road. Nope. And he's not talking.
It's been asked. Power suits, power armor, and the Marauder. Any more news on that?
Power suits. The Marauder is a program. The M11 Babar biped is the first, and then there's the attachment mechish armor, and then this power suit. So yeah, we've said all along our first phase is the M11 Babar. Yep. No news on it. It's just it looks really cool animated. That's about it.
Somebody asking whether we'll ever implement a system where you retain XP in the game, even if like you have to leave midway through.
Yeah, because we're working on design on that system, and Chaz's team, I've asked them to put together something for that. And so basically, it's going to be a system in which if you get, you know, disconnected with for that you had nothing to do with it, the server dropped you out or you crashed, we want a system that the next time you log in, it'll get a pop-up saying, hey, you made it to that objective. At least one objective in the match, you have to make it to that milestone, and then you get some of your XP back. That's the goal, and we're working on that system. We want that system in game as soon as we can. It's just a lot of technical work on the server and backend, and now they talk to each other. But yes.
Big one. Can we expect any changes to how the engineer build tool functions when you're trying to build within the base? So right now it seems to override it.
I'm trying to understand this question a little bit. So when you're trying to use your engineer tool while you're building your base with your standard engineering tool that everybody has equipped to, right? It overrides it. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're talking about, right? So yeah, it kind of gets confusing for the engineer because the engineer's main ability is meant to be used outside of the base and that base building phase. So yeah, our designers are always looking at opportunities to get some quality of life in there for sure.
Will there be any improvements to the knife? It seems people want to go full melee. Is that something we're wanting to embrace?
More on that in the future. Yeah, there'll be stuff. There'll be things that you'll get rewarded for.
Exciting. The hopper bug is one of the most iconic bugs in the franchise, but not introduced yet. When?
Soon.
Yeah, we've touched on this a lot.
Definitely got one coming next year. Right now, we're working on one bug that's, I guess, iconic is different. Depends which movie you watch. I mean, if you're talking about hopper bugs, that's a big technical challenge for us. So we definitely want to get that in. You know, whether 2025, 2026, we want to get that in. Depends, right? Like we got a lot of work in front of us. And then there's other iconic bugs that have been introduced in the 5 films that, you know, we want to get in. And but yes, we're committed like always to get bugs into the game, but they got to make sense in our world and they got to make sense in our game too, right? So yep.
It comes from console players who can't communicate via microphone. Are we looking to introduce a radial communication menu?
They have text chat, which I know is kind of cumbersome on the controller sometimes. a radial menu. Chaz, what's your thoughts on that?
It's going to be tricky. We've kind of run out of control buttons to do these kind of things, and it is one of those things where we take it very, very seriously that people want to do that. But yeah, it's a big endeavor, and it changes a whole lot of things. But never say never, but not right now, I don't think.
Will there be visorless helmets?
Oh yeah, so you can see the trooper's face. Not not something. I think it would be really cool for a new class one day to not necessarily have a helmet on, but right now our troopers are faceless because they don't survive long enough. But yeah, no plans.
I suppose touching on visors, people are wondering, will there be any adjustments to visors looking more representative of the loadout image?
Yeah, so that's the thing that we're trying to work on because of the lighting in game versus the lighting in the menu systems. We want to make sure they're accurately reflect each other because you go to every planet, it's lit differently, right? Because of the biome and stuff like that. But yeah, that's always been a bit of a challenge for us to represent that properly. But yeah, we always look at opportunities that we can do that.
Yeah, will the Pilum Rocket ever become like a customizable weapon you could put in your loadout rather than from
The Pilum?
MI caches? Yeah, the Pilum Rocket Launcher.
I would say sure, why not one day? Of course. It's kind of an OP weapon, but yeah, I can't see why it wouldn't go into a demolisher's progression.
Just looking at the time, we are almost reaching out of time, but so people have questions, please just put them in. I think for
Hey, we'll
this
be doing it again next
well.
month. So
Yeah, we'll be doing it monthly, hopefully. And then I know for this one, I think I wanted to do like a little skin giveaway for the Valaka skin.
yeah, let's give away a couple things.
As people
cosmetic
questions, sorry, cosmetic packs. So if people want to put in questions, I'll do YouTube first, and then I'll do Twitch after, because I can only do it one at a time. But people want to think of questions to put in, or if PMO sees anything, or Chaz, you see anything you want to answer, just go ahead, and I'll set it up and give you the keyword everybody can put in.
Centurion's asking, will we have more refineries in the first 3 planets? Like more refinery locations? Yeah, I thought that's what you're asking. There's a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but there are a few maps that we've never released in Valaka and stuff that we need to go back and revisit. Like we always create more flow and maps than we actually use. So there could be one day. I prefer probably have different aspects of that planet added in the game, but yeah. Everybody wants a propaganda guy and a cameraman. Yeah, cameraman would be really cool. Will we ever see the Satt Array on Valaka as a playable area? Yeah, that could one day happen for sure.
I have a keyword now. It's hashtag kill 'em all. If you type it in YouTube chat, I will do Twitch after. So you can enter to win a Valaka skin or cosmetic pack.
I love this one. Will the Navy stop being lazy and land across the lava river? Yeah, I keep going. No, the fleet will never stop being lazy. And yes, we need a bridge. If we only had engineers that could create bridges, one day, perhaps one day.
Are we looking to add game modes is a question I've seen.
Not at this time. I think if we ever did add one in down the road would be 16-player Hive Hunt. Like that's probably the one we'd go to. Yep. We need to get more missions in our mode first, like different missions. That's the real thing we're working towards. Like how many more missions can we add? How much different things can you do that would be engaging?
Making what we have better is kind of what I'm concentrating as well. So more mutations that we used to have that worked, kind of reintroducing those.
This one is asking, I just saw it and it disappeared. Call-ins and artillery barrages. Is that something we're looking to add?
Sorry, was that artillery?
or like call in like bombing runs and same
Sure.
just like artillery in
Yes.
general.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all, everything's on the table. If you've seen it in the movies, everything's on the table. It's just a matter of time, focus, and when we can get there in priority. But yeah, and we're at time. Sad
I'll
to
pull the
see.
Valaka winner, and then I'll just do the Twitch one
Yeah.
after. So for YouTube, we have Mr. Velociraptor.
Velociraptor.
Good.
Cool name.
Mr. It's like a philosophy raptor. Let's see where. Oh, there you are. I actually see you. Hi. If you would like to reach out to me on Discord, as Astraea in the community Discord, I will hand you your Valaka cosmetic pack skin. And that's set up for Twitch. You can, for people on Twitch, you can look in the Twitch chat. You can use Kill 'em all and potentially win a cosmetic pack. Let's see if there's any quick questions. You can end it with the giveaway on Twitch. But I think right now on Twitch, all I see is Kill 'em all, so I don't think I'm going to get any questions there
No.
right now.
Free stuff.
Yeah.
What
I
was
like
the
that
question
warrior
before?
pack though. It's a great pack.
Oh, I have a good one. For the content creators, they were wondering, will the Hide HUD button ever make its way back?
Not at this time, no. We'd love to be able to get it back in and make sure it doesn't break other parts of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was out in the wild for a while, and people didn't know if they did a certain thing, it would really mess up their day, and we had to get it fixed really quickly by removing it.
That's something
is
that,
there
you know,
any-
it's very hard to support because you can imagine every time we add something to the HUD or change anything in the HUD, we have to test that. So it's an expensive feature, but it's something that I think adds a lot to the immersion. So it's never like it's like one day maybe, but yeah, it's something that's not going to be a lot of focus on yet.
And Lynx is asking, any news on 8-man Hives? No, it's 4, and then we're looking at 16 eventually down the road. Yep, we want all our modes to be 16-player modes. I guess we're done.
Oh, yeah, I guess I'll pull this Twitch winner.
Cool. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you so much for
Dingo.
your continued support. We really appreciate it. I know it's been a little rocky for some players out there on PC. We are, like I said at the start, we're committed 100% to get everything fixed that we can as fast as we can and ensure that you have a great play experience. That's our goal.
It's grateful for everybody who tuned in and asked us questions on Discord and on stream. We'll be trying to do this every month, so we didn't get to your questions. Hopefully we can get to it next time.
Yeah, if you're in Discord, I just end up answering questions sometimes all day long anyway. So, like, spoiler alert, get me in a mood over there and I could spoil the whole next 12 months for you.
Yeah, I think we will end the stream here. To the winners, I could reach out to the person on Twitch, on YouTube. If you could reach out to me on Discord, happy to give you your rewards.
Awesome.
Otherwise,
Bye, everyone.
everybody for tuning in.
Kill them all.
Kill them all. Bye.